Welcome to the fourth episode in our first series of the J9 Property Vlog. So I'm going to start out today with a bit of a rant. I'm then going to drive around, show you my portfolio, how I went from 0 to 7 properties. I'll show you all 7 properties and also go through the figures, the purchase price, how much they make me on a monthly basis. Also, it's been really difficult this week to actually get anything done regarding property. I've not done any viewings, and this is mainly down to it being in the middle of the school holidays. I have 2 children. They're very demanding. We've done a lot of things. Obviously, our family time increases during the school holidays, so it makes things like filming, viewing, doing property stuff, makes it really difficult. But anyway, we'll crack on. But the first thing I want to touch on is, now I've recently started on Instagram for my property business, for my brand. Not personally, but I've noticed that there are a hell of a lot of people on there pushing property courses and trying to give advice on property. I just want to put it out there that I think that some of them are full of shit. If you're going to take advice off somebody about property, then make sure that they're actually doing it themselves. Make sure they're in property. Make sure they actually practice what they preach. Now, it really bugs me when people have got like one buy to let, then they go spouting about how great they are and how they've got this amazing course that'll teach you how to be rich from property. Sometimes it's just laughable. So always make sure that you actually learn from somebody who is doing it. Somebody who's walking the walk. Somebody who's putting themselves out there. Somebody that's actually doing the things that you want to learn to do. Now, people have asked me, why have you started this J9 Property Vlog? And the simple answer is, I want to put myself out there and show what I do. Not only does it hold me accountable that you watch my videos each week and you watch my progress, which means I'm more inclined to get things done, I'm more inclined to push harder, I'm more inclined to build my portfolio, buy more property, more investments, bigger investments, push myself further. Not only that, but by me putting myself out there and showing you what I do, then in the future, there's a far more likely chance that you are going to turn to me when it comes to property advice, when it comes to education, even sourcing, if you want a property deal, then you're going to turn to me because I proved it, I put myself out there. And in this day and age, it's so important to actually build a self-brand, whether it be influencer or whether you're pushing a business, whatever it is, it's so important to build a brand online and show people what you actually do. So that's the reason why I've started my weekly blog. Now, it's not going to be every single week, but hopefully I'll be able to put a video out every week if I can create enough content. I also want to put across this no bullshit attitude, this transparency, genuine advice from somebody who actually invests in property, somebody that does hold and build a portfolio. As I said at the start, there's a lot of bullshit out there. I don't want to be like that. I want to put things right. I want to put things straight within this industry. I'm not going to talk a load of shite about how you can build £1 million portfolio with none of your own money, how to get into property with absolutely zero, how to fund your next flip property using investors' money, when how the hell are you going to do that when you've never done it before? Why would an investor choose you? So the things I'm going to be teaching throughout this journey, throughout this vlog, is going to be realistic. It's going to be actual things that are going to help you progress in your property journey. Not a load of bollocks like you hear off most people on social media. You certainly won't see me on Instagram doing all this ding, 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 ding bollocks, because that's just not me. To be honest, it's quite cringy, it's quite ridiculous, so no, I won't be doing any of that anytime soon. I'll just be telling it how it is. And I know that may not suit everybody, but hopefully you find it refreshing and you find it useful and helpful going forward with my property journey and also yours. Now, a quick update from the last episode where I said I was struggling to get a solicitor for my latest purchase. Finally, I've managed to get one thanks to the estate agent who rang around loads in the area. Finally got one that does conveyancing for limited companies, which is great. I've spoken to them on the phone. They seem good. They seem absolutely fine. I've got the paperwork right here, which I need to send off, and all that will be going through just nicely. So fingers crossed, these are a good solicitor and I can add them to my team of contacts for the next purchase, because I do have big plans, not only for my own property, not only for my own investments, my own portfolio, but also with J9 Property, which I'm going to be revealing throughout later episodes. So make sure you stick around, make sure you subscribe to the channel, and make sure you have your bell notification on, because you don't want to be missing that. So I'm going to go to the first property that I purchased about 9 years ago. And when I purchased this property, I didn't have any intentions of building a big portfolio or any kind of portfolio, to put it that way. I just saw it as a good project. I saw it as an investment because I saved up a little bit of money. This property was on the market for 60,000, I think, or 58. It needed a complete refurb. It had been lived in for 90 odd years. I went in at 54,000 and they accepted it. I spent around 5,500 or 6,000 on it because I did all the work myself. And obviously this was 9 years ago when things were a bit cheaper. The house is here. It's just again another terraced, nice bay window, 2 beds, kitchen at the back, pretty standard for this area. It took me about 3 months to do all the work, but I did do it at a really low cost. So the mortgage that I had on this property was for 2 years fixed. The payments were something ridiculous, like £110 a month. But this was actually a BRRR deal because I renovated the property. It got revalued at around £75,000 2 years later. So I pulled most of my money out, or all of my money out. So I was renting this property for around £430 per month. The tenant stayed in there for a few years, to be honest. When they moved out, I did have to spend a little bit on new carpets, but I now have new tenants in. Now, over the years, this property has made me thousands and thousands of pounds profit. I have remortgaged once and pulled money out. I have saved up all the rent that I've been earning over the 9 years, which again has been reinvested into my other properties, and it's been reinvested into the property that I'm going to show you now, which is my second one. I think that when you're first starting out, if you can find a good BRRR deal where you can add as much value as you can to a property, then it's a great starting point because it allows you to pull out most of your money and then reinvest it again. Now further down the line, which I'll show you soon, I began to buy properties that were just vanilla buy-to-lets. I wasn't making any profit in the short term because I wasn't adding value to them, I wasn't flipping them. I was just buying the properties and putting a tenant straight in, which is absolutely fine if you've got the money to invest. If you haven't, then you've got to go and do the BRR strategy, which obviously I started out with on that first property. I'm just about to drive past the second property in my portfolio. This is the closest one to where I live. It's literally a minute away from my house. And this is where my buy-to-let journey sort of started, because this is when my mindset changed, and this is when I had the idea and envision to build a portfolio. Now this property was on the market for 100,000, managed to negotiate it down to 90,000. This was pre-pandemic, by the way, where you could actually buy houses for less than they were on the market for. Now this is a house here. You can just see it's a terraced house coming past. That one with the brown windows there. That was my second. Tenant's been spot on the whole way through. Never had any either, no problems. Rent I achieve on that is £500 per month. I could easily achieve more than that, but I don't like putting the rent up for my tenants, to be honest, unless I really have to. Mortgage on that one is £177 per month, around that region. That one's in my personal name as well as my first one, which is why the mortgage payments are lower. You can always get a better interest rate when you're buying property in your personal name. Just got to collect some euros because we're going away next week, so just got to run into the post office to collect them, and then I'll move on to the third property. I've got the euros ready for next week. Forgot to mention that property I just showed you. When I bought it, it didn't actually need any work doing. Only minor touch-up jobs, skirting board, a little bit of painting. We're heading over to the third property now. Now I purchased this one quite close to purchasing the second one. It wasn't far after. Regarding the purchase of the second one, because there was such a big gap between purchasing my first one and the second one, I'd saved up all the rent over the years, which obviously then gave me a big pot to go and buy another one. Might struggle to get up the street, to be honest, because it's a bit of a tight street and it's a dead end. Third property was on the market for £92,000. I went in at 85 because I knew that all the houses around the area were selling around 85,000. Eventually got the offer accepted. Then the seller pulled out at the last minute, and then a couple of weeks later he called and said that he was going to sell again, so I went through with the purchase. Now this house did need a bit more doing to it. A lot of wallpaper needed stripping, it needed decorating all throughout, new carpets, the bathroom needed a bit of doing to it. So this is the street here it's coming up to on the right. It's very tight, as you can see, so I'm not going to go up there. Now you might be wondering why I've got 3 properties in my personal name and the other 4 are in my limited company. It's all down to tax purposes, income. Obviously, as I mentioned, the interest rates are a lot higher on mortgages that you buy through your limited company than your personal name. However, you do save in the long run on tax, because buying a house in a limited company comes with tax benefits. You only pay corporation tax on the profits, whereas when you buy houses in your personal name, you now have to pay tax on the whole amount of the rental. So if you rent it out for 500 a month and your mortgage is 200 a month, you still pay the tax on the 500. Also, when you start going over the tax threshold into the higher tax bracket, then obviously it makes more sense to keep your assets, to keep your income within a limited company so that you can manage your finances a lot better. Just on the way to the fourth property now. This was in fact the first property which I purchased within my limited company. Again, this was pre-pandemic, just about, which meant I got the property below market value. It was on for around 89,000, and because it was on Purple Bricks, you deal with the vendor directly. So I went in and offered her 86,000 and she accepted. Now, this is a really great house. I really like this one because it's very spacious, it's open plan downstairs. It has 3 bedrooms, which is always good for families. All it needed doing was a lick of paint throughout. I put a new gate on the back. Apart from that, the flooring, the carpets and everything were fine. I also managed to get a tenant in there straight away because the letting agent, which I always use, had somebody in line waiting for a house just like this. So the tenant was in really, really quick. Now this property achieves £500 per month. Now to be honest, I could easily get £600 a month for this property because of the size and the number of bedrooms. However, being nice like I am, I don't want to put the rent up for my tenant. She's a single mum with 2 kids. Really nice, looks after the property, so I've got no reason to put the rent up unless obviously interest rates go through the roof, then I'll have no choice. But I'll hold out as much as I possibly can putting the rent up. Now the mortgage payments on this are around £190 per month. Again, this property gives me really good cash flow. This property's on a main road, so I'll have to be really quick in trying to show it to you. So this is a house here, the second one along, with the white windows and white door and blinds just there. As I said, really big spacious property, 3 bedrooms, which is always great. Now about 200 yards down the road is my 5th buy to let. Again, I brought this one probably at the start of the pandemic. I'll just pull over because there's a car right behind me. I'll try to show you, but it's on this side of the road. So this property I purchased for, it's just that one there with the white doors. Don't know if you can see because the light's really bad, but it was on the market for 90,000. Again, didn't need anything doing whatsoever. They offered £85,000 and they accepted. I think it was a rental previous to that. And to be honest, I've never seen a house in such good condition. There's literally nothing needed doing. There wasn't a mark on the wall, there wasn't a splash of paint on the sockets or anything. So I was really pleased with this purchase. Again, this was in my limited company. Purchase for 85,000. The rent, I achieved £490 for that. Again, I could put it up, but the lady who lives there is lovely. She says she's going to be staying there forever. She really, really looks after the property, which is great. So again, I have no reason to put the rent up. Mortgage payments on this are around £190 per month. Again, this gives me a nice bit of cash flow. So that was the second property in which I purchased through my limited company. So now that I've got 2, 3, 4 and 5 under my belt, definitely gives me a lot more leverage because the cash flow has increased massively each month, which means I can save more funds a lot faster to reinvest into more property. If you're looking at building a portfolio, it's absolutely vital that you reinvest your profits. And I know a lot of people struggle with this because it's a reason that a lot of people only ever have 1 or 2 buy-to-let properties, because they get the money coming in, they get used to them funds, they get used to the cash flow, and they literally just go and spend it. Now if you go and spend all your profits, then you're not going to have enough money for deposit to buy another investment. So if you want to build a big portfolio, then it's absolutely vital that you keep leveraging your money, use a compound effect, use a snowball effect, just get your money rolling, keep it going, and keep investing it in more properties. If you keep doing this, you'll eventually come to a point where you can have enough money to buy a property every couple of months, because all the money that you're earning from your rentals equate to 10, 15, 20,000 pounds over the space of a few weeks, a few months. Now this is where people go from small buy-to-let portfolios into big property empires. Now this is the 6th property which I purchased. Again, it's down a narrow street. I won't go all the way down because there's a lot of cars parked up. Now this is a complete opposite story to the others. Obviously post-pandemic, where houses are going for more than what they were up for. So this went on the market for 90,000 or 92. That's £92,000. and I offered 96,000 because there's about 12 other people interested, and I got the offer accepted. Only needed minor decorating, a bit of a paint job, and I got a tenant in. And that property there rents for £550 per month. Now, because that one's also in a limited company, interest rates are a bit higher, so the monthly mortgage on that is a bit higher. It's about £220, maybe a little bit less, I can't remember. But yeah, I was really pleased with that addition. It's a really nice spot, it's very sought after, and rent's really, really easy. Got a nice family in there, just had a baby, so hopefully they'll be staying for the long term. So that 6th property is literally just around the corner from the 3rd one. Again, it's only 2 minutes from where I live. Makes things a lot easier when you're investing, when it comes to managing your properties. Just coming up to the 7th and final property in my portfolio so far. This is the one I mentioned last week, the one I got an offer accepted on a couple of weeks back. This was purchased for 100,000. It'll rent for 565 without any issues. Mortgage payments are 278 per month. However, I fixed this over 5 years, so it does give me a bit of leeway. It does give me a bit of sense of security in terms of knowing exactly what's going out and coming in. This property is in the street right next to the first property which I bought. I don't know if you can see. It's a nice tidy street, in demand. There's about 4 houses been sold actually, looking at the signs. This is the one that I purchased with the brown windows. I don't know if you can see, with the sold sign up there. So that's the one I'll be renting out. Doesn't really need a great deal doing, to be honest. As you saw in last week's video, it's already got new carpets, the kitchen's fine. Maybe just needs touching up around the skirting boards, paint job. But it's a nice addition to the portfolio. It'll give me an extra 290, 300 per month cash flow, which is always good. That's my 7 properties. They're all within my local area. They're all very profitable, and I hope it shows that it can be achieved if you set your mind to something. If you've got goals and you want to build your own portfolio, then I hope it just goes to show that with my example that it can be done. It can be done relatively easily as long as you put your mind to it.